It's never too early to start reading to your baby. You might be familiar with the recent research showing how important literacy and reading is to babies who are in utero. Today, I'm here with Jackie and Susan from Belly Books. So Jackie and Susan, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really excited. So can you tell us a little bit more about your backgrounds, how you both connected, and how this project came about?
Well, we've been friends forever, since I was 12 and Jackie was 13, and our friendship has always been filled with music and art and fun, and so over the years we've been doing a lot of different things together, but this is our first formal project, and maybe was it about 5 years ago?
5 years ago, Susan was doing literacy teacher training at Lesley College, and we were reading studies, a lot of studies that talking about how babies do hear sounds and recognize them and remember them from in the womb in the third trimester.
And it was really exciting because I was at sort of a literacy perspective at the time, and so the more I dug into it, the more studies I found that babies can remember what they hear in the womb. They hear what they hear in the womb, and then when they're born, it's like it even calms them down. If they hear the mother's voice, which is familiar, and then the familiar, it could be a story. The more I looked into it, it was really tying into what I knew about how children learn to read and how children learn language. And I thought, wow, like everybody's saying, like even the American Library Association has a program, Born to Read. It's never too early to start, and they start from 0 to 3. And there's a lot of policy from 0 to 3, but I thought, wow, why aren't they doing it like in the last trimester when all this evidence is showing? So I called Jackie, and we just got really excited, and
she called me one day from your car, right? And you just had the flash show. Like, wow! It all came together at once. Like, to read to the baby, like especially written to read to the baby in the womb. And it took me a while to understand what that meant. Like, why not read any book? But Susan's thought, and she was so right, is that if the mother is really reading to her baby, words addressing the baby that express her excitement and love and anticipating the birth, then it's so much more of a bonding experience.
And you know, when you were pregnant with your baby, just that feeling like you're so connected, and when you have that bump, but you can't yet have a baby in your arms, you're just dying to connect with that baby. Like, you want to find ways to. So it kind of all came together when we started talking about it. It wasn't just about literacy and language, it's also about bonding. Like, the mother's really wanting to bond with that baby. And then there was the kind of the ulterior motive, which was to get families really hooked on reading. And if you do that routine before the baby's born, I'm hoping that families will keep it up after. Because imagine, like, you have a newborn, and now you've got to read to the baby too, and the baby's crying, and you're exhausted. But if you start the routine before, then families are more active.
Easier.
Yeah.
It becomes easier.
So the initial shape of the book was something, this is 5 years in the making, but that was something we came up with right away. Like,
It's really unique and everything, because it fits right over the belly bump.
Yep. And then over the baby.
Yeah.
The baby's born.
Yeah, exactly. And I love, there's so many things about it that I love. I mean, the illustrations, obviously, the tile here, the rhythmic of the story as you go throughout. It's
and that's
very
what the
unique.
research shows, is that the rhythm and repetition is the baby in the womb can hear, like, sort of the voice going ba-bump, 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 and they really latch on to that. And so when they're born, they hear that familiar beat to the words, and it really is just an amazing thing to see. So
I remember when my son was born, and I remember playing a James Taylor song and always singing it to him over and over, that Copper Line song. And when he was born, but we would sing it before, and then when he was born, it would always calm him down.
Exactly.
Whenever I sang that song, and there's a lot of songs even still to this day, you know, the common ones, You Are My Sunshine, but it's the repetition of hearing. They've heard that mother's voice for so long.
At an important time too, developmentally, because the ears are the first thing to develop with the brain, like, and so by that time, that's the only sensory input they have really is hearing, and so it's extremely important in developing the brain itself.
Exactly. Now, how important was literacy when you were growing up in your households, and then how important has it been in your households with your own children? to take place.
So we both were crazy
Big
readers,
readers.
and your
Our whole
family
family.
and our family. My mom took us,
Obsessive readers.
library. We went to libraries right away when we were little. It was an important part. You too, right? Your house always
Yeah.
had books everywhere.
All the time, and I became a writer. That's why Susan wanted me to help her with this project.
She's an editor, so she's so good at all that,
So literacy, writing, and language have always been very, very important to me.
and still are. Yeah. And with my own kids, I can't say. I wish I could say that I read to my babies in the womb. I wish I knew about this.
Exactly.
And so, but I did. Literacy was very important. But I have to say, I waited until they were born and had regular story times with them. I really wish I had done this. And we're not the first. Just to be fair, we're not. This has been going on. This research around this has been around since the 80s, and this is the first book especially designed for the mother to read to the baby in the womb. But Dr. Seuss was somebody who was really, really into babies in the womb learning language. It was a very cool thing to find out, that it was dear to his heart to get babies in the womb to hear language. And Tish Rabe is his widow, and she took one of his books and adapted it to reading to babies in the womb. But it's very, very different. It's beautiful, and it's been around for a while. It's a different feeling. Like what Jackie and I would evolved into what it was. We really knew we wanted that physical contact of the mother and the baby in the womb and the book. So it makes this like cozy snuggling experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like
and
they're content and happy and safe and with
and
their
it's
mother.
directly the mom. Like the first page is the mom talking to her
to
baby,
her baby,
inside.
holding them just like that.
So it's really kind of proud of it, Amy.
It's really a great thing, and in today's day and age, we're so technology driven, and right now we're actually doing a survey about that and how addicted, or not addicted, but how entrenched are people on social media and video games, things like that. And when you see these kids, they're not as much outside anymore. It is more prominent, and they have gotten away from really this literacy aspect. And this is
absolutely.
so important for them. It bursts that creative side of their head, and it's going to make them more well-rounded adults when they're older.
Absolutely. So we hope to counteract that. That's there is absolutely a place for technology and learning and families, but we were kind of hoping to counteract
like you said,
that.
if you start early, and this is a way to start right from the very beginning with them, and make that connection and get in the habit, and it becomes part of your daily routine, so then it will continue on. So how did you balance the time for this project with your home lives and your jobs? And tell us.
It's been interesting.
Where do you find an extra 10 hours every day?
Yeah, it's come as
We're
quite
learning
a surprise.
Yeah, we had a long time where we were trying to find a publisher for this idea, and all we had was the text, not the illustrations. And we came close a few times, but I think it was a big risk because it was before its time. And it's an ambitious project because of the die-by shape. So we finally decided, all right, let's do it ourselves, and that pretty much meant that we had to illustrate it ourselves. So we've never done that formally before. We both do a lot of arts and crafts, but we decided to just jump in and try it, and we did it. We loved it so much, and we got the results. So it's been fun, wonderful work in that way, working on a hobby project.
We laugh and we're just so happy
we
while
work
we're
really
doing
well
it.
together. We each contribute different things to it. So that part doesn't even, it's how can we find enough time?
Because you love it. You're passionate about something. So
But the other part can be a little overwhelming. We were trying to keep up with emails and very exciting things, like having something like this interview is wonderful, but we're just finding our way now. And so, for example, last night my husband and I were sitting down just to finally just chill, but I looked on my computer and realized there was a bunch of things that needed to be addressed, and good things, exciting things about Belly Books, like the newspaper article, and then there's a lot of awesome things going on with a lot of people who care about literacy and bloggers, and we applied for a couple of awards and reviews from the Children's Book Review, which it's exciting, but it's a lot of work. But we laugh most of the time.
Well, that's a good
and our
thing.
families are being patient. They hear about it a real
Well,
lot.
it's really important. I think this is fabulous. You kind of mentioned there's going to be a series with this. There's going to be, they're not just, this one's focused on mothers to be and the mom reading to the baby. But I understand you're working on some where it will be a grandparent or the father or a sibling reading to the baby. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And
Yeah, we call it the Belly Books Collection,
okay.
and we have already written, ready to go next as soon as we can, a daddy version, and then grandma, and two sibling ones, one for parents who don't want to know the sex of the baby,
One for
one
twins.
for twins,
I mean,
one
we've
for
gone
even knitters, because I'm
Yep.
a knitter, and things like that. So it's kind of endless, and it's really fun to write them. And we just can't wait to get illustrating all
That's
of them.
really great. They would make great gifts for showers, first-time moms, for moms who already have babies. I mean, these are really fabulous. I love them.
Yeah, thank you, Amy.
You're
That's so
welcome.
nice. In our research, we found also that dads and sometimes siblings can feel like marginalized because the mom's got this obvious bump there and is so, you know, like I just approached a woman in there and gave her a book. She was so adorable and had a big belly. But the dads, they want to feel included in the siblings. So we thought that having a book that has a rhythm and rhyme and is speaking from them to the baby is a way for them to make that bond. And imagine this, a sibling or a dad, when the baby's born, they read that same verse and they can calm the baby down just from their words.
The baby will respond to it.
Yeah,
It's such a great.
it's such a great thing.
You're right, and I remember from one of my baby classes is they always said the mother's a mother right from the moment you learn you have a baby inside you.
Yeah.
A father, sometimes it's until they get the baby in their arms because they didn't carry the baby the whole way, so they feel kind of this disconnect. So this is a great way to kind of segue that little bit of disconnect in it with the siblings, so they don't feel that they're left out and everything. So it's great. So what's some of the early feedback other than ours on the book so far and on the collection?
So nice.
We've had really, really good feedback. Our favorite feedback is when people tell us, "I cried."
They say that a lot.
It's very emotional, the story, and it's just the way that the mother can connect with the baby and show. I can't wait to show you all these things that I love in life. And I think that really connects with people on a deep level of the pregnant mother. So it's really exciting to have that work as we imagine.
It really is. It is. We've imagined it for a long time. And people have their favorite pages, their favorite babies.
They're all different.
Yeah, and they'll say, and for some reason, we tried to make them all different. And for some reason, some of them appeal to different people, or different. Some of the verses appeal to different people. So we've heard. It's just really exciting, and a lot of people say, "Wow, like why isn't this out here? How come this is the first we're seeing of anything like this?" I mean, and it's really,
babies, little babies and toddlers also love it.
Love it.
Really gotten excited about the pictures. And,
I'm sure, because it's very dynamic. It's got a lot going on and a lot of interaction. You have color in here. Great
we
illustrations.
tried to make everything, like all the things that people can't wait to show the baby, or things that are accessible to everybody.
For Cape Cod, I love it.
So
I know you kind of went through some of the seasons too, because the colors, the feather. I mean, it's great. Winter.
People who read our prototype version that we had early on, who were able to read to the baby while they were pregnant, and they did report the baby
recognized it afterwards. I like how you two close with the good night with the moon and everything.
Yeah, and I can't wait to show you my love. Is the way it's kind of sums it up. It's more an experience. That's like
it really
we just get so excited because it's not just a book; it's a memory. It's a way for families to bond, and I feel like when people share that book and the baby's born, it becomes part of their family, and they look at them.
Okay, so thanks for sharing all that with us, Jackie and Susan. And where can the moms and the community, where can everyone find your books at?
We're available on Amazon.com.
And you can find some books at Titcom's, our very favorite bookseller in East Sandwich.
Oh, Titcom's East Sandwich, you can pick them up, or on Amazon. And where can we find you on social media and on the web?
Well, we have a Facebook page, and our belly-books.com page will give you everything you need, all the information you need. TheReadingWomb.com is our blog that gives you a lot of information about the benefits of reading to your baby.
And we're on Twitter, and we have a Pinterest board.
Twitter and Pinterest, Facebook, and you'll see we're running their websites right along the bottom of the video right now, so you can check them out. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And do you have anything else you'd like to share with our moms?
Well,
It's never too early to read to your baby.
Thanks so much.